stand up and say something for just a second. The 4 months of the state legislature this year were extremely hectic. There were a lot of things that took a lot of committee time, but never got to the House floor. Whether it be about transportation or schools or any of the other major big issues facing Tennessee. I think one of the things that affected that is the fact that we are moving into an election season. Now then, I've received at least 7 or 8 different requests for information from me so that I can be placed in the light of what you're going to do. But in order for me to answer the question, what's the #1 issue in the 19th district? Let me stand here for just a second and ask you, what's the #1 issue in the 19th district? Roads. Now then, have you got a pen and a spare piece of paper? Write roads on it, and then we'll see what else is said. Could you do that for me? Because I don't know whether I can remember everything that I said. So, roads are an issue statewide, not just the 19th district. Yes.
Speaking of roads, whose district is the eastern part of I-640 in? Would that be in your district?
Probably Sam. Probably Sam.
640
Michelle Carringer's district?
probably
Sam.
a lot of it in Sam McKenzie's district.
Okay.
A lot
Well,
of it,
I'll
but-
tell you, the east end, it took less time to build Morris Dam than it did to complete the eastern section of Interstate 40. And let me tell you something, I drive that every day, and basically they started talking about bridge repairs and that they hadn't anticipated and all this, that, and the other. I get that. Unforeseen circumstances. I get that. But the bottom line is you see nobody over there working. Okay, not doing anything. And I'm just interested, like this lady was saying, I mean.
And I'll add to it, that's been at least 4 to 5 months.
Yes.
Not just in 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, but this project's been going on for at least 3 years.
And put I-640 on that line with a start.
Yeah, it's just, I don't get it. Because they finished, and I'm not one of these east-west people, I don't care about that. But, you know, they finished from I-275, I-640 to I-40 west. They finished it in really no time. And this one's been languishing out here for at least probably 3 years from the time they started.
More than 3 years.
Well, I was trying to give you a break.
You're not giving me a break because I've been in the road commissioner's office twice during this last session without further question.
It's dangerous.
#1 issue. Okay.
Inappropriate books in public schools.
And you've got books in schools. I am on the transportation committee, so I have the ear of people that want to talk about transportation, financing, and I've been a member of the state legislature 6 years, but it was only because I asked to be on transportation that I got there. That's the #1. I do not want to be in education. I hate to be that blunt and say that, but there are 99 members, House of Representatives, and there are a lot more qualified educational people than I am.
Lafferty's on education.
But Dave is.
So just a second.
Lafferty's on education.
Right. There is a member of Knox County, I think.
Carringer's on
Michelle
education.
Carringer is on one of the educational committees, and I will be sure and talk to both of those about what's being said here tonight.
Dave, I did read yesterday that the governor is now looking at who is supporting this program in order for him to support Republican candidates.
That was on the broadcast TV news this morning that the governor will be looking at the qualification of candidates and who he might support in the upcoming election. So, what do you think of that?
What?
Once again, we've talked about tonight, the Republicans coming together, not necessarily splitting apart with incumbents such as yourself, 6 years, 10, and producing results. At the same time, I'm seeing our state leader of the party kind of wishy-washy based on if you're supporting something I've got on my agenda. And even though you don't want to be on the education committee, you still.
And let me add a phrase to that. The reason is because I'm not qualified in education. But continue.
But that's my point. Is such. I still want to see our representatives that we believe should be in the office again, being taken away because of they're not coming out supporting verbally that vouchers. I just want to hear your thoughts on the situation with that. I know you just heard it this morning.
The question I think you're raising is should the governor be influencing Republican races in the 99 districts across the state?
Sure. Absolutely.
And that's a question that I am looking for an answer on. Because it's
even though you're not going to be, as you say, on the committee, you still are going to have a vote and an influence on the other house.
when it gets to the floor in the budget, we're going to have a vote on it. But the thing that you need in all of the 14 major committees are people that know something about what might be taking place in that committee. That's why I'm saying that a position would be on something that's affecting local government and never had an experience in local government. That doesn't fit. That's the reason that people are on various committees is because they have some background or they have some foundation in the subject matter of that committee. That's very important in Nashville because everyone doesn't see every bill. 10 or 12 or 15 people see bills as they're coming in, and it should be people that are knowledgeable of that particular subject because it's a hectic 4 months. It's a very hectic 4 months.
Okay, good deal, thanks.
So, okay. What else? What other points are very important in the 19th district? Yes.
Homelessness in relationship to the mental health hospital. I hear a lot of people talk about the mental health issues in the community.
On the mental health issue in Knox County and surrounding counties, where a mental health facility was removed from Knoxville before my time. But I think if we do look at the flow of dollars, even though I'll maybe agree with you that they've been misspent, the number of dollars being spent on mental health has probably increased. The problem that I see we have is that we're having to have qualified law enforcement officers transporting people to various facilities several hours distance from this population center. And
And do you know why that is? because the prior Republican governor shut down Lake Shore
Absolutely.
and threw them all out on the street.
Absolutely.
Promised, as Mike knows, promised us money, because Mike was on the chairman of that committee. And then one day, in comes the word at a committee meeting. Governor said, I'm not giving you any money. That's the problem. We gotta have a mental health center like we had at Lake Shore.
I think you might have missed the words I said. I think that we'll find in the Tennessee state budget an equivalent number of dollars still being spent on mental health. My statement was it's being misspent. It needs to be spent in Knox County. I agree with you. I agree with you. There
If you
needs
want
to
the
be-
whole story, right there it is. Mike can tell you all of the gory details. And how long has it been, Mike? We've been without a mental health center.
2012. Since 2012.
16 years after it was promised to us. Anyway, I'm with John Marshall on
And
that.
I'm with the two of you. It needs to be a facility here in Knox County. And I believe that one of the most important things taking place is that Senator Massey is in a position to influence that building being built here in Knox County. And
She's working hard.
that's
working hard on it.
That's only one of a number of things she's working very diligently on. And we can't give that seniority up in the Senate. So there again, back to the three guys that spoke first, and you're one of those three. We
That's
need to
all right. I'm with
really
David. That's
work
all
hard, diligently, at making sure that the slate of Republicans that we select have the influence in Nashville to make sure we get where we need to be. So I believe I've gotten the hook here saying.
But just one thing, I do think the governor has the right to support vouchers and school choice if he wants to, and he also should have the right to vote, to support those candidates who support the same things he does. That's politics. That's just the way it is.
Time to eat.
Thank you, Rob.